it doesn't. That's another pushback too. A lot of people are like, "Oh, you're so selfish. You want to live forever." I don't like. That's not like. I think you're biologically programmed to want to live and survive. That's why when you go skydiving, you don't want to get out of the plane. When you go cliff diving, you don't want to jump off the cliff. You're programmed to live as long as possible. So people, you may say, "Oh, it's such an unnatural thing to live for, 2 or 3 lifetimes of what we can now." There's nothing more natural than living. What's more natural than that?
Yeah, you're definitely right. The will to be alive is very, very powerful. And you see it in everything. You see it in an animal. If it gets wounded, how hard it will fight to try to stay alive. Or you see it in someone who has cancer, how many treatments they will go through, and to the extent that they will try to eradicate that. Um, so yeah, there definitely is a very strong will to be alive. And I think, like we were saying kind of earlier, anyone who doesn't have that will definitely be changing their mind once they realize that they wish they had more time.
Or they can stick with it. I think in the future we should always have a choice to live or die. I mean, self sovereignty. As long as that's around, nobody's forcing you to do the therapies. Nobody's forcing you to take the pills or whatever it becomes. You are in control of your own game. Anytime if you want to live longer, you can. If you don't, that's a choice too. Just don't. It's what we kind of talked about at the beginning. Is like just don't put your choice on everyone else. If we can advance medical research to make sure that people have the choice, which they don't have much of a choice now, other than very primitive therapies. And kudos to all the medical research that's happened so far. But it's just scratching the surface of what we can do when we start actually repairing cells and doing these therapies that all the foundations we spoke about have been working on.
Exactly. And something interesting that I've heard Richard mention on a longevity stream was that a better word for longevity is rejuvenation instead of using longevity, because people have this idea, preconceived notion that longevity and life extension is bad. But if you use the term rejuvenation, it doesn't hit people such a wrong way.
Mm,
So that's kind of an
that's a good one too.
interesting thing to maybe it's worth switching up the dialogue to try to get people's monies into the right hands and where it needs to go.